Coming up on Valley News now, a bizarre case at a downtown bar involving a man with a sword. Details from those court filings. Plus,
you're going to hear from some residents who are temporarily displaced as their ground floor is covered in water. They don't know when the timeline or what the timeline is for them to return back to their apartments, but we'll have all the details coming up.
An update from inside this flooded apartment coming up, plus another house fire in Otter Tail County, 7 just this year. Valley News Now is live. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to your Valley News Now digital update. I'm Devin Fry, bringing you the latest that we have in the Valley News Live newsroom today and beyond. We're going to start on the weather front as we continue to push through some, I believe it was 4 consecutive first alert weather days. We're on the tail end of that now, thankfully. Let's go give a quick summary of what the first alert storm team has been telling us before we hear from Summer Schnellbach herself. Bitterly cold to start the week. I had to dig my ice scraper out of retirement. I put it away too early. That's on me. I do the same thing every year. Temperatures this afternoon only climbing into the low teens, as you can see right now in the corner of your screen. 13 degrees out there right now. Heads up, first alert already in place for St. Patrick's Day. Snow and wind on the way. Summer Schnellbach joins us now with the very latest for what we can expect in our first look at our forecast coming up. Summer, go and take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Summer Schnellbach, and the wind of change is about to be blowing again. Today has been cold, but at least it's sunny. We'll have more cloud cover building in tonight ahead of our next chance of snow. Our next first alert weather day is tomorrow for St. Patrick's Day. The snow will move in, it's a clipper system, from the west to the east, arriving in eastern North Dakota around the morning commute time, about 6 to 8 o'clock in the morning, pushing into the Red River Valley counties by a little closer to the lunchtime hour, and then continuing eastward into Minnesota for the early afternoon. Not going to bring a lot of snow, general 1 to 3 inches, 2 to 3 further north, closer to 1 further south, but it's going to be the wind. Out of the south this time, gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour with sustained winds in that 20 mile an hour range. Now, the interesting thing is that this snow is out ahead of a warm front. So as the snow falls and immediately after, temperatures are going to be warming up. And with warmer temperatures, we're still going to have moisture in the atmosphere, and there's possibility for some freezing rain or some freezing drizzle behind the snow that could further complicate travel conditions. We're already looking at difficult travel from blowing and drifting snow, and then we could add slickness on top of that. So you want to stay tuned. We've got that full forecast for you tonight on Valley News Live, and you don't want to miss it, because by the end of the week, there's something you want to see.
See, that's how you get them going. That's how you get the people in. You can talk about bad weather all you want, but there's some good news coming up. Be sure to stay tuned tonight. Valley News Live at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 for your latest on the weather conditions that we can expect moving into the future here. Plus, download your First Alert weather app. If you want, you could look right now. You'd spoil Summer's segment coming up at 4, but you know, if you want to look at that right now, go right ahead. Let's get into some of the headlines that we have today. I do want to say Summer mentioned travel conditions. We are going to look at road conditions before we get out here. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. We're going to have them at the end of the show. Let's go ahead and look at some of the headlines that we have coming out of the newsroom today. A Moorhead man is behind. This one is a very fascinating case. Moorhead man is behind bars after police say he swung a sword at a bar patron outside of a downtown bar early this morning around midnight. Edward Melrose, 40 years old, faces a felony terrorizing charge and criminal mischief after an incident outside the Bismarck Tavern on Broadway. Police say bar staff had already confiscated a homemade knife from Melrose and removed him from the bar, but they say he came back. A witness told officers that Melrose retrieved a large sword from his SUV and swung it at a man outside the bar. The witness told police that she believed if it had connected, quote, it would have taken his head off. Officers found a cut going completely through the bar's metal rear door. 3.5-foot metal sword was later recovered from a nearby apartment. Melrose is currently in custody at the Cass County Jail. Another court filing today. Another Moorhead area man is facing felony charges after police say he threatened officers and sexually assaulted a detox center staff member. This guy right here, Farron Clark of St. Cloud, was charged today in Clay County with felony 5th-degree assault, 5th-degree criminal sexual conduct, obstructing the legal process, and disorderly conduct. Police say Clark made threatening gestures toward officers, kicked a glass panel at a bus stop, and bit a breathalyzer tube during his arrest. After he was taken to the Clay County Detox Center, Clark allegedly approached a staff member and touched her inappropriately, then advanced towards her with a clenched fist before another staff member intervened. Court records show Clark has prior convictions for assault and sexual assault. He's currently being held at the Clay County Jail. Sticking with the law theme here, but kind of on the other side of it, a southeastern North Dakota prosecutor has been disciplined over her handling of a sexual assault case. The North Dakota Supreme Court's disciplinary board ordered Richland County State's Attorney Megan Kummer to serve 1 year of probation, complete 3 hours of software training, and pay a $250 fine. The case centers on how Kummer summarized forensic evidence in a probable cause declaration involving Wahpeton resident Ray Rochelle, who was charged with initiating sexual activity with an unconscious woman. The board found that Kummer and her staff were negligent in ensuring the declaration had been reviewed and authorized before it was filed. Kummer has no prior disciplinary record and is cooperating with the process, according to officials. A home in Otter Tail County is a possible total loss after a fire early Saturday morning. That's how officials described it. They said that the home was heavily damaged, maybe a complete loss. Crews responded to County Highway 56 just after 5 a.m. on March 14th. The Otter Tail County Sheriff's Office says 2 residents and several animals escaped the blaze before fire crews arrived. Crews from New York Mills and Perham fire departments. The cause is believed to be non-suspicious and does remain under investigation. This now marks the 7th house fire in Otter Tail County since January. I do want to note they do say that the cause on all of these fires has been not suspicious, but it certainly is interesting that this is happening. Certainly worth noting the frequency in which we've seen those. Let's go on to our digital exclusive for the night before we go ahead and get out of here. Residents in North Fargo are out of their homes tonight after a flooding emergency at an apartment building. Jessica Barini joins us with Anna Ballweber, who was on scene of this flooded apartment building, to find out what we know happened so far and what these displaced residents are facing. The story coming up in our digital exclusive, a little bit of a preview before you can see the full story tonight at 6.
Devin, renters in North Fargo dealing with inches of water when they woke up this morning. Not an ideal situation. Valley News team's Anna Ballweber has been speaking with, in fact, the renter who pulled the alarm to alert emergency services to this. We're seeing inches of water on the ground floor of this apartment building.
Yeah, so we actually got a call. Someone called the station this morning and said, hey, the fire alarm just went off. I think there's flooding happening. You guys need to get over here. So I didn't really know what I was getting myself into there. Luckily, by the time I was there was the top floors they were able to go back in, but as you can see here, it is really the ground floor that's affected. So you can see kind of down the stairs here, and then this door here, that's going to be the first floor, and it's just covered in water. And so I was able to get in there. It smells really bad.
Yeah, you mentioned the smell is really strong.
Yeah, so I did speak with the guy, and he was like, yeah, I'm the one who pulled the fire alarm. He said, I didn't really know what was going on. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was safe. So he pulled the fire alarm, and by the time I got there, crews are working to get it cleaned up. But yeah, it's not a pretty sight right now.
No, certainly not. At this point, too, we just got an update. They're actually being instructed to call their insurance company, Renters Insurance, at this point.
Yeah, so earlier when I was there speaking with the man, he said, I don't know a whole lot right now. He said, there's not really a timeline on when we can go back. And that was a few hours ago, and fast forward to now, there's now been a letter posted on the door that says this was a water line main break. And the other part of that is they need to contact their renter's insurance, and they need to plan on finding another place to stay for the next few days. And their water is going to be completely off too. So for the top floor residents, they don't have any water. So,
which is something I think all of us can relate to if you live in an apartment or have The fact that it's flooded, can't live there, trying to scramble to find a place to live, don't know if your furniture, all your electronics are okay. That's a lot to take on.
Scary stuff. I know my water's gone out a couple times, but nothing like this. So I really feel for them, and it's cold outside too.
Yeah.
So he said, you know, hopefully I got some friends who are gonna let me come stay at their apartment or something for a couple days. So hopefully it'll get fixed soon.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But we'll hear a lot more and see a lot more, thankfully not smell.
Yeah, right.
Much more coming up tonight at 6. Devin, back to you.
Again, like Anna mentioned, that was a very quickly developing story this afternoon. I actually took the phone call in the newsroom and yelled out at Anna to go to that apartment, and she delivered in a big way. So some cool stuff coming up tonight at 6. These stories, they happen fast. Now let's take a look at road conditions real quick before we close out for this afternoon update. These are things in North Dakota right now. Now, obviously, the weather pattern, we're not going to have to worry about it affecting travel conditions too much right now. However, there are some problem spots. Down by the Wahpeton area in Richland County, some scattered ice to watch out for. Same story up past Grand Forks County and into the Devil's Lake Basin. Some scattered wet and slushy roads down here south of Jamestown as well, around the South Dakota border. So anyone traveling out that way for whatever you may be traveling for, be on the lookout for that. Let's take a look at the interstate in Minnesota right now. Again, this is right at the Minnesota-North Dakota border here in Fargo and Moorhead. Roads look fine. Actually, traffic looks really light too. If you have a chance to start heading home now, I'd recommend that. But make sure to download the Valley News Live weather app to stay up to date on the latest weather trends as they develop. Our First Alert Storm team has you covered. We are also coming up in just a little bit here at Valley News Live at 4. You got 2 minutes. I have to sign out before I get kicked out. Thank you for joining us for this Valley News Now digital update. I'm Devin Fry.